Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about my character and who I am as a human being. So I actually wrote notes because I felt like it was important to share my story. My story is fascinating and it really does show you that the American dream is still very much alive. You just have to work hard. Let me go to the beginning. I was born in Shanghai in 1987. My father was a university student in America when I was born. So I was in China and he was in the US. Tiananmen Square happened April and June 1989. Tiananmen Square is where that very famous student or college professor is standing in front of all those tanks. And it shows the power. That picture is so powerful. And I do sometimes cry when I look at it because by delaying the tanks, how many lives did that this one person save? I'm sure that he wasn't a hero in China at the time, and probably bad things happened to him. So when Tiananmen Square happened, I was still in China. It was a dangerous time to be a university student in China. That's fact. It was even more dangerous to be a Chinese university student in America. Imagine that, right? So if you're a Chinese student, if you are a university student in China and a bunch of your friends were shot, imagine being a Chinese university student in America at the time and being asked to do interviews and having your boss ask you questions about it. And so George H.W. Bush, one of the reasons I love Texas so much, issued Executive Order 12711 on April 11th, 1990. It deferred deportation of Chinese nationals and their direct dependents and waived the 2-year home country residency requirement. Most importantly, it gave employment authorization through January 1st. So obviously, it's great that you can live here, but how are you going to make money? The order became the Chinese Protection Act in 1992. And here's something that you have to know about me. Many of you want to know, do I support Trump? Am I against Trump? Am I a Republican? Am I a Democrat? And the answer is yes and no. The main sponsors were Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat from the House, and yes, that Nancy, and Senator Slade Gorton, a Republican senator. So I am eternally grateful to George H. Bush, Nancy Pelosi, and Slade Gorton. Politicians can change lives for the better. I will always believe that because they changed my life. And I'm eternally grateful to those three individuals and many more. I grew up poor, but happy. Shanghai had a strict one-child policy when I was born. Living in America gave me a sister and now a niece that I would not have had living in Shanghai. I can tell you absolutely not in that city. The first birthday party I attended in preschool, I gave a pencil as a birthday gift. I was not invited to any more birthday parties for some time. Being poor means you see the worst in people. We were constantly taken advantage of. I know what discrimination feels like. It's not a theory or a concept. It's not a tweet. It's not a post. It's not a repost. Real discrimination is pretending to walk to the bus station only to walk back to your house, hide in the basement, wait for your parents to leave, and mistakenly pick up the phone when your 12th grade history teacher calls you at home. And you might think, oh, that doesn't sound like discrimination. It sounds like you were skipping class. Going to school that day meant someone on the basketball team was going to beat me up. So I skipped. Now I'm going to talk about something kind of random, but it's important. And many random things are quite important in developing someone's life. I'm proud to be a Magic the Gathering player, as many of you may know. My first pack was beta. I still own the cards from the original pack. I would never sell or trade those, and I own lots of valuable Magic cards today. And they still don't hold even a tiny bit. So if I had to save something from a fire, it would be my pets first, of course. I would make sure my pets were okay, but I would probably save those cards over the hundreds of thousands of dollars of cards that I've seen in my lifetime so far. Magic the Gathering allowed me to make friends. I was terrible at socializing, terrible at talking to other people. I was bullied, teased, and beat up in middle school. Other students would call me Jackie Chang because Jackie Chang Adventures was the big, Chinese thing at the time, and challenged me to fights. When I said no, they beat me up anyways. I dreaded going to my 7th grade history class. That is by far the worst class. Or was it 8th grade? It could have been 8th grade history. At some point in time, you're just getting bullied so much you don't even want to remember. All 3 of my major bullies were in that class, which is a disaster. They made fun of the way I talked, and some people still do. That's fine. Dressed, because I was poor, and stole my lunch money every day. In 7th grade, I got a fossil watch, which was all the trend for my birthday. During study hall, a bully asked if he could borrow it. I sheepishly gave it to him, kind of expecting, he would give it back to me, and then now he would be my friend. He never gave it back to me. And I told the study hall teacher, he didn't care. So when I went home, I told my parents I had lost it and obviously I was punished for that and grounded for a long time. I didn't want to tell them the alternative. Friday Night Magic was my safe haven. Wizards had a Magic the Gathering store in the Exton Mall. I met great people and I gained confidence for the first time in my life. I'm trying not to cry, but this is a happier part. So I went to NYU and I became popular. I do not know why or how, but I did. My first week at NYU, I volunteered cleaning up beats in Rockaway for surf riders. I met 2 people that would change my life cleaning that beach, 2 of my closest friends at the time. And 2 people who opened my eyes to they were always saying good stuff about me and building my confidence and building me up. In middle school and high school, I learned that you meet the best people volunteering. Unfortunately, they're not the same age as you. They tend to be older or much older. I volunteered at a retirement home playing piano, calling bingo numbers, and talking to residents. The retirement home was called Sunrise. I've always loved that name. I used the same tactic at NYU and later law school, as I'll go into. Freshman year, I let popularity get into my head. When you are bullied and beat down, and then now all these people are saying good things about you, you can go crazy. I'm kind of going off script because I'm thinking about it. And I lost my only friend from back home. In high school, middle school, elementary school, I would tell you I only had one real friend. And because now I was popular and he was not, that's my biggest regret. I let a lot of things get to my head. I was a teaching assistant for 14 NYU classes as an undergrad. And since you control your grades, your students are generally nice to you. That's basic math, right? In 2.5 years at NYU, I taught over 1,000 students. I taught at the NYU Learning Center and did 2 summer orientations as well. I was on the stage a lot and well known on campus, especially by pre-med students because of all the classes I taught. I had fantastic friends, none more than the first friend I met. I met her outside of Walgreens eating Swedish fish. Sometimes you luck out and meet someone who will change your life, and I did meet this person. She was a beautiful person, inside and out, and I still can't imagine having a friend with such a beautiful soul and so kind. And I used to call her my big sister. I still do, because she treated me without her, I would not have the confidence to own a business. And she still gives me confidence today. One of my goals was to pass the patent bar at 21. The reason I love patents is because there's no discrimination. A patent application is a patent application. You either can do it or not. Everything is based in science. You can't even take this test unless you have a science degree. I worked at the largest Chinese IP law firm when I was 18. And I worked at it until I was 24. Part-time, remote, so on. It was in One Penn Plaza, the most beautiful office I've ever seen in my life, and still have ever seen. I worked for huge American companies that wanted their US patents and trademarks converted and protected in China. Patents helped me understand my value, and I loved it. And honestly, it was my first love. I think it will always be love. So I went to William & Mary Law School to become a patent lawyer. My first year as a 1L, I spent my spring break in New Orleans helping rebuild homes from Hurricane Katrina that was damaged by Hurricane Katrina in impoverished areas. The volunteers are good people concept worked. Again, the reason it did not work in middle school and high school is because all the cool kids in your school don't volunteer for the most part. You're not going to meet the most popular cheerleader at the Sunrise Retirement Home. I can tell you that. But it is possible you meet your big sister. It is possible you meet your best friends. Because when you're in college, when you're in law school, opportunities to volunteer with people your same age are common. And these people are fantastic because who else would do this? That 1L year when everyone else is either enjoying their spring break or you're building homes, you're hammering, you're doing stuff you are really bad at doing because it's physical labor. And I am terrible at physical labor. I wish I was better, but I'm not good at that. I met my best law school friend on the trip. She helped me tremendously in law school, and I don't know if I would have graduated without her help. She was much better at law than me. My goal in law school was to be president of as many organizations as possible as a 2L. And honestly, my goals changed because I was engaged for a period of time, so I couldn't put much time to law school anymore. So as president of the Student Intellectual Property Society, it's really weird looking at this list now. President of Phi Delta Phi Fraternity, President of American Constitution Society, Graduate Research Fellowship, Technical Editor of the William & Mary Environmental Law and Policy Review, Founding Staff Editor of William & Mary Business Law Review, Chief Editor of Intellectual Property, William & Mary American Bar Association Representative, Board Executive Hurricane Student Network, Agent for Kaplan, Preliminary, blah, 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 blah. I could keep going, but I'm going to stop. Right before I took the New York State Bar, my fiance broke up with me. Oh, and I should mention, while everyone else was studying for the bar exam after their 3L year, I was at a detention facility for immigrants with the CARE Coalition. And my recently adopted cat is here. Do not worry, I'm not going to damage my cat. And at that point, I didn't really care, because at that point, I really didn't care if I passed or failed the New York State Bar exam. My fiance, since I was a 1L, just recently broke up with me. I figured, who cares? I don't even care about moving to New York anymore. And I didn't go to New York City, even though I had a job offer. I still passed, though, because I'm good at test taking. Life After School is another book. The short summary is worked for other people, opened a small marketing business, fostered 11 dogs, 2 ferrets, 3 cats. I failed adopted a dog for $1 and a cat for $0. A failed adoption means that you love the pet so much you cannot bear the pet going away. And I would have failed adopted another dog, but the situation was very bad. I've covered it in one of my old videos. And that was my biggest regret. I should have took her to court. I should have took her to court. I should have spent the money. I don't know. But I've always taught. I've always enjoyed teaching. So I taught a bunch of really talented kids, including Tillman Fertitta's youngest son, Blake. They own the Houston Rockets, and they are the nicest family. I remember the first time meeting Blake, and he was eating a bologna sandwich. I was like, you have a personal chef, but your favorite food is a bologna sandwich. I love, this kid is amazing. Which brings me today. When a large marketing agency attacks my small business, we offer the same exact services. And in digital marketing, there's not really a geo-fence for a service. I have clients from New York City, Alaska, Colorado, Hawaii, etc. Even international clients. And I've sent emails prospecting all throughout the US, including Vermont, where there's large agencies located. I'm sure the large agency has sent out to prospects in Houston, my main feeding ground, San Antonio, and so on. California, Georgia, Florida. I was personally attacked on LinkedIn by a larger marketing agency for a repost from the Indian salesman and other jokes in 2005 by Frederick Alisarias. The joke existed since 2005 and was recently on Gary Vaynerchuk's First in Line Facebook group and shared on LinkedIn through one of his fans. I have screenshots of everything. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people posting, yet they attacked only me. Without proof beyond the repost, the larger agency assassinated my character. They were more focused on that than the merits of the post. I can prove this by the number of times my name appeared in first discussion of the post itself. So when somebody is attacking you, obviously they're going to drag your name in the mud as many times as they can. So if they're attacking the post, they're not going to tag you all the time and put your name out there and put your company name out there unless that's, I didn't know them beforehand. My first interaction with them was them attacking me. I didn't know about them beforehand. I didn't know the agency existed. I didn't know this person. I don't think I know anybody at the agency. I overreacted, which escalated the situation. I was wrong for that. I felt cornered, and it was many versus one, as social media is often. Attack the argument, not the person making the argument. I know they will see this. I did a test, and within a few hours, they screenshotted my LinkedIn post, even though I blocked them. So I don't know how they did that, but they saw my LinkedIn post and then put it on Twitter with my name and thing, and I knew that that's what they were doing. And I know that they're going to watch this video. I did offer to talk to them. I'm not going to engage them in social media because that's would be it would be the end of me. Not for like being mean or anything. I could be as nice as I can, but given the fact that their only interaction with me and their primary interaction with me, which they're not. They published everything minus what the original interaction was. It's the line here and then show more, but you can't click on show more because it's an image. So why was I attacked out of people who posted? Why not someone more famous who posted? Why not a woman who reposted, which there were many women who have reposted that? Why not another man who reposted? So when I did a LinkedIn search to research hundreds of reposts, I'm the only Asian male who owned a marketing agency that reposted, or an Asian CEO. I'll put it that way. And I was attacked by an agency 50 times my size, who in all certainty pitches the same clients I do. I would not be shocked I'd be shocked if they don't have clients in Houston, meaning I assume that they have clients in my market as well, just like I would be pitching in their markets. I don't complain about discrimination because I lived it. I still live it. How do you change someone's mind? Own a business, hire employees, be a good boss, be a great boss. If you want change, be the change that you want. Also, I'm going to read you a retweet that they posted about the Bachelorette Fire Now. This is a retweet, so this is a retweet. I do have a screenshot. But why not Tyler? Tyler C., who your parents love, who parents also love you, doesn't have a girlfriend back home, is hot as hell, respective AF, successful and financially stable, in touch with his emotions, and deaf ready for marriage. Jed, who your parents don't like, who parents also don't like you, who has a girlfriend back home he has also cheated on, who can't sing for shit, is unemployed, can't even pay his own rent, is emotionless at all times, and deaf not ready for marriage. In my opinion, isn't this the same thing as, it's not, my post came from a joke book. This post came from the Bachelorette. In context, I would say that basing a human being on if he's employed or not employed, if he's successful, if he's hot as hell, if he can sing, these are things that I don't know if we should encourage in the future, especially, unemployed. There's no shame in being unemployed. And I hate when people say, oh, you're unemployed for a long time, I can't hire you. There's no shame in being unemployed. If I was unemployed or if I was looking at a job, the first thing I would do is publicly make that clear. People will help you. I will help you. Can't even pay his own rent, is emotionless at times. This is just what they posted last night. All right. That's it. That's a little bit about me. I mean, I have a long life story. I made a lot of effing mistakes, guys. But the one mistake I won't make is with my employees. I love them to death, and they know that. When I had to buy out my company, so I had to buy out my company, or we would all lose our jobs. I took a personal loan for $50,000. Maxed out my business loans. I maxed out my credit cards. I took a personal loan of $50,000, and I even took a family loan. You know how hard it is to ask for a family loan? It's insanely hard. But I did that. I smiled. My employees had no idea how dire the situation was, and now we're going to be debt-free in August. I'm an Asian minority business owner, and I'm proud to be that. Bye, guys. Do you guys like the script? Because I can do it more often. This is the first scripted video I have probably produced in a few years. Bye, guys.